How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're a little bit nervous, to tell you the truth.
So am I.
Because you're a big celebrity here, because we watched the documentary, and you were there,
Oh, yes,
so...
the sugar pill. All right.
Wait, I'll turn up the volume. There. Let's see.
Okay. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, we can hear you better now.
Okay. Good.
I'll see. Yes, everything's set. Well, David, I'll introduce you first to my pupils. Well, we're missing one, but she's going to be here shortly. She's Martina.
Well, I'm Martina. I'm 16.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, I am Paula. I have 16. So.
They're both well, she's not longer my pupil, but we worked in biology. I'm a biology teacher.
Okay.
And last year I don't know if I told you this, but last year we started a project here at school because in Argentina the subject about sugar is not even on the agenda. Nobody speaks about it. Everybody speaks about fat or flour and carbohydrates, but nobody speaks about sugar.
Yeah.
And so we started, well, Paula and her partners came up with the idea about like a workshop where people came and selected items that they perceived as healthy. And they went home with a big surprise when they found out about what the sugar intake in that was. And how they were over the top, more or less what Damon did on the documentary.
Yeah. Yep.
So this year the school asked if we wanted to participate in the science fair. So we said, well, okay, let's pick up that project and just take it up a notch. And we started asking people through Google what they perceived as healthy and what they knew about sugar, and the result was, as we predicted, that they knew nothing. So we said, well, we went to the science fair, which is really serious because I can't take the computer there now, but in schools you have what we call a buffet, where pupils go during their breaks and eat sugar, candy, nothing healthy.
Yeah.
And alfajores and chocolates and fizzy drinks and everything that shouldn't be drinking during the school period. And so they went to the science fair and they are big winners. So now they're going to the state fair.
I saw the post on Twitter. Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
And they were a big revelation. These two are the ones that actually went to the regional one, and that won the opportunity to go to the state fair. And yes,
right.
And now they're going to try to go to the nationals.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to do for the to do this? What do you actually have to do in the fair?
We have to expose what are we studying and what we could research, and we have to explain that, and then we have to show everything that is like
the test
about that anyone knows about this, and that kind of thing.
They have to.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
No, it's a big deal because it's the first time they actually made anything like this. We thought we were going to just show something and
come back home.
Yeah, that's right. And with a commemorative pen they gave us. It's a big show here. And actually, well, we had the pleasure last time we went that they actually congratulated them because of the novelty of the theme, because of the subject. Nobody is speaking about it. They should.
Wow. Well, maybe you have a good chance at the nationals then.
Yeah. And we have a big card in our sleeve that they are actually trying to program a small video game. So
Okay.
yeah, do you know Scratch?
No, I don't.
No?
How does it work?
It's a really good program that just works with like programming blocks, and you just.
Oh, right, okay. Yes, I do know it. Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's from the MIT.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're trying to use that. We haven't started actually.
And what will the program that you write do?
¿Tienen preguntas ustedes del programa? Del programa.
¿Explicarlo?
Yes.
No.
They're designing.
Well, we are trying to do two video games. Well, one is a video game and the other is a simulator. It's a kind of simulator. And in the video game, we are trying to do that kids be really choosing some foods like in the break in the school, and they have to choose like the healthiest options, because if they don't choose them, they get angry and they have like symptoms of sugar.
Sugar rush.
Yes.
That's great. That's a terrific idea.
Thank you.
And the simulator?
I mean, that really is. I haven't seen anyone do anything like that with sugar. I mean, lots of people do the kinds of apps where you measure how much sugar is in a food, and you say, so just information type apps. But I've never seen anyone turn it into a game. That sounds like a great idea.
Thank you. Well, simulator is like old people, older, who is like preparing a dinner or a snack, but it has to be healthy.
Right.
Yes, it's like similar, but you don't lose or win if instead.
Sounds like great ideas.
Yes, the idea between the video game and both the simulator and the video game is that people confront their own ideas about sugar, and not only about sugar, but about what they think is healthy. Because here, David, this is the problem we have. Sorry, this is Valentina, the other people. Hello.
Hello.
The thing is that my computer only goes so far, and I'm going to there. I'm used to them. No, I'm short, so I'm so used to my pupils. Look at this. Come here. Look at this. And I'm the professor here. Okay. Ahí va. So the idea is for people to confront with their own ideas. Because what I was telling you, why are you here? Because we don't have anybody in Argentina or anywhere near us that knows about this. Yeah. Nutrition. Sorry.
We think that to run
like a nougat waffle. No sé cómo sería. Yeah.
We think here in Argentina the industries sell it like healthy. And it is not healthy because it has like a top of sugar. 3 teaspoons. Yes, 3 spoons, and we don't know. So we eat it like twice or 3 times a day, and we don't know that it is not healthy.
Exactly. And when Damon and I did the film, that was one of the rules we had, was that it couldn't obviously be unhealthy. So we couldn't have people eating chocolate bars and soft drinks. We had to have them eating things that people would think were healthy. So it had to be like a breakfast cereal.
Yeah.
It had to be like a cereal bar, so that people would look at that and say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. And we wanted to show how much sugar was in that, and it was actually worse than if they were eating chocolate bars and soft drinks.
Yeah, actually, Paula here, after we saw the documentary, started taking into account the amount of sugar that she was consuming in her breakfast. Yes. Yeah, because we're usually we put teaspoons of sugar in our coffee, or we drink mate. Do you know what mate is?
Yeah.
Well,
no, what is it?
Mate, it's a beverage that
It's like tea.
Yeah.
But with not
without bag.
Without bag. It's like a kind of cup with the
with the sherba?
With the sherba, it's like a grass.
It sounds awful.
Yes, it sounds.
I promise that it's good.
I'll look it up afterwards.
Yeah. And we put 1 teaspoon each time we drink one, but it's like what's nice about mate is that some people share. And I drink my mate, I pour some water, and I give it to Valentina, and so on. We put approximately 1 teaspoon of sugar each mate. So we drink a lot of sugar. Going back to the production. Yeah, thank you. Well, we are now doing that. We're going to phase 3 of the project, that we are trying to spread the word and confront people with their own ideas about what they think is healthy. Because what I was telling you, that nutritionists here, the ones that are supposed to tell you what you should be eating,
they tell you that you have to eat like 5 portions of fruit a day, more than vegetables, and that's not the best option of healthy diet.
They also tell you that you've got to eat cereal for breakfast. Yes. That's what they tell us here. I don't know if it's the same there, but that's usually to make cereal taste any good, you have to put a lot of sugar in it.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's the same here. And orange juice is like the main favorite that every nutritionist is going to tell you. Start your morning. Yeah. So we're started like having this problem that we have a few doubts that came about during the project or during the fairs. I'm sorry. When people came, ask or try to break down the project, because we have a few people that wanted to sabotage the project.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
We had a person who I was explaining the project, and he was like, "No, but that's not true. But where did you listen to that? Because it's not. I am a vet, and I never listened to that." And it was like
a bit aggressive.
Yes.
For Martina.
Yeah, I know. It reminds me of when I first started. Maybe 10 years ago, talking about this, people would attack me, openly about it.
It's awful. That's awful, because we were trying to do is not
bad. It's like give you the information to know what are you eating.
Yeah.
Make better choices.
I'm really interested in these programs that you're developing, the software. When you do that, I would love to see them. They sound really, really interesting.
Yay! Well, this weekend we're going to start working on that. We have the fair in 1 month. 1 month time. We have to go to we have to go to Buenos Aires. We're actually a bit far away from Buenos Aires, and we have to go there. So we're a bit nervous. Well, the questions we had that we wanted to ask you, I'm going to take you off the screen a bit. Well, one of the first one that we had, we worked with mostly with documents from the World Health Organization to make it true, to make it. Well, one of the things I wanted to work with them, because all of this is a big excuse to teach, was especially how to conduct research work and to select your sources, your information sources. So we worked a lot with those. The problem is that they said, or they in several documents, they talk about a 10% max of sugar intake, or a 5 to have real health improvements. Okay. Okay. Have you heard that? Yes.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
The thing is that we started hearing some people talk about how much sugar that 10% or that 5% was, and it had a small discrepancies. So we wanted to ask you that teaspoon max or 9.
That's 5%.
That's the answer.
That's
what we thought. Yeah. The 5% that we're talking about is the 6 or the 9.
It's the 6.
The 6
for women and 9 for men, or?
Well, there's two different things. The American Heart Association doesn't talk in percentages. They say that it's 9 for men and 6 for women. but the World Health Organization doesn't differentiate between men and women. It just says 10%. And so most of the numbers that are converting that to teaspoons are doing it on the basis of it being a man. So they say 10% for a man is 12 teaspoons, 5% is 6 teaspoons.
Mm-hmm. And in grams, do you know how much sugar in grams that is, that 5 and that 10?
In grams, yes. So teaspoons converts to 4 grams.
Yes.
So it's just 6 times 4, 24. For 5%, 24 grams.
Okay, so 24 grams for the 5% and will be 48.
So it will be 48 grams for the 10%. Yes.
That's what we heard in the radio the first time that, because in Argentina we are starting to hear some small notes or research that are coming up, but nobody has some solid information about this.
Yeah, most people when they talk about it in grams round it to 50 and 25. So they say 50 grams or 25 preferably.
50 grams is what Cormichot was. Yeah. Cormichot is like an eminence here in nutrition, and he was talking about 50 grams as the.
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
I mean, I would say 0 is what you should be aiming for. What the World Health Organization is saying, they say that too, but they also say you can get away with 25 and would really rather everybody had less than 50.
Yes. It's actually, it's one of the questions we had is that, because it's really difficult to keep it in 0, especially when you move around every day and you have to eat something outside your home and it's not necessarily prepared organically or whatever. And many people ask them, well, perfect, I can't eat sugar. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
What do I eat instead of sugar? Instead of, cookies or fruits or juice or whatever? What would you say is a good substitute?
Look, one of the easiest things to eat instead of sugar is things like nuts, chips usually don't have sugar in them. If you want a snack, something like that, which is savoury, and which, as long as you don't add a condiment to it, as long as you don't add a sauce to it, then it's fine. You're not increasing your sugar. It's only when people here, for example, there's a big problem with people adding things like ketchup, tomato sauce, and other condiments. And every time you do that, you might as well be putting 2 teaspoons of sugar onto it. But as long as you don't eat things that taste sweet, and that's savoury things like nuts, crisps, chips, those sorts of things, then you are avoiding all of the sugar. There's a friend of mine here who made a rule which seems pretty simple, which is if it's sweet, don't eat. You can tell when sugar is in something because it tastes sweet, and if you taste something and it tastes sweet, then don't eat it. And if it doesn't taste sweet, then you can eat it.
Here I think, well, I presume in Australia it's the same. You can find sugar added to soup.
It is in everything. You are best to assume that everything in a package on a supermarket shelf has sugar added to it.
Yes, that's a big surprise, especially because of the hidden names.
Yes.
Yeah. But I don't know what your labels look like there, but here they're required to put a line on the label that says the amount of sugar per serving and the amount of sugar per 100 grams. And if that's on the label, then it is really easy to tell. You don't even look at the ingredients. You don't look at how they break it down or what they call it. You just look for that line in the information panel that says exactly how much sugar is in the product. Do you have that on the food there?
Some products, but not many. And I think...
Oh, that makes it hard.
Yeah, and some products like cookies or another one that's very popular here is called alfajor, which is 2 cookies between it's like a dulce de leche sandwich. So it's really sweet. And children eat a lot of that. They put carbohydrates and just put in that the sugar. They don't
say. No. So they just say carbohydrates. They don't say how much is sugar.
Exactly.
Right.
Some products, not every product, but it's not mandatory, not yet.
Well, that is very hard because here and in the United States, it is mandatory.
No, not here. Not yet.
And then you're going to have to rely on your taste. Then you're going to have to rely on, if you see something that's carbohydrates on the label and it's sweet, then I think it's safe to assume that most of that carbohydrate is sugar.
Sugar. We tend to say that sometimes it's like half of that is flour and the other half is sugar or something like that.
Yeah, and that's probably reasonable, unless it's something which is, like all sugar, like something like a Tic Tac. I don't know if you have Tic Tacs there, the sweets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're 97% sugar. So if you see carbohydrates on the label there, it's all sugar.
No, we had actually a big problem when we were preparing for the fair to estimate how much added sugar was in a yogurt.
All right.
Because carbohydrates just meant both lactose and added sugar. So we had to
but the lactose is a defined amount. It's going to be about 5 grams per 100. So when you look at a 200-gram serving of yogurt, you know that 10 grams of that is lactose, and then anything else is going to be added sugar.
Okay, well, that's a lot. Okay, and another question it's related to the first one. What about children? How many teaspoons would you say that's the max a child should be allowed to eat daily?
Well, the American Heart Association says 3, which is that's about 12 grams of sugar.
Which is like nothing. My eldest.
When you consider that there's 40 grams in a can of Coke, then it's a sip of Coke.
Yeah, 3 candies.
Yeah.
3 candies. My eldest just asked for a candy when she came home just now. 3 candies.
Yeah. And the other thing about the American Heart Association recommendations is, this doesn't relate to children, but you've got to take it into account, is that they say you should deduct alcohol. So if you have alcohol during the day, then you have to take that off the amount of sugar that you are allowed. So if you work out that you're allowed 12 teaspoons of sugar, you have to work out, but you had 2 drinks of alcohol, which is equivalent to 2 teaspoons each. So that's 4 that have to come off. So it's only 8. So you have to take the alcohol off the sugar allowance as well. So that's why I say it's best to just aim for 0. That's the easiest thing. And then if you accidentally eat a bit of sugar, that's fine. But it's better if you're just aiming for 0.
Yeah. Well, wait. I'm going to check for another question. Another thing that we come across a lot, the debate about fruits. How much fruit should you eat? Fruit. Whole fruit.
Yeah, so I say to my kids, there's nothing wrong with whole fruit if you're eating whole fruit. That is, the whole apple with the skin. It's not dried, it's not juiced. As soon as you dry it or juice it, then if you juice it, you're just taking the sugar out and throwing away everything else. And if you dry it, then you're significantly concentrating the sugar. So as long as you are eating just the whole fruit, that's fine. And I would say the current guidelines in Australia, which say a maximum of 2 whole pieces of fruit a day, is a fine recommendation. There's nothing wrong with that.
So like 2 apples?
If you're having 2 whole pieces of fruit a day, that's fine.
Well, 2.
Here, the nutrition recommended 5.
But they do that here too, where if our guidelines actually say 5 serves of fruit or vegetables, and a lot of people just say, well, that means 5 serves of fruit. But when you read what it actually says, it says a maximum of 2 should be fruit. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to eat, then eat that. But that's your entire sugar allowance for the day right there.
So no candy, no nothing.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. Okay.
No, nothing else containing sugar if you're going to have the 2 pieces of fruit.
No, of
but
course. What about? I've been reading lately because I have 2 girls, and every time they have a birthday, I start like sweating because I don't know what I'm going to prepare for them, because I don't want to give them too much sugar, but I want them to have cake. And I've been reading about, I was telling them about dextrose. I mean, like buying, instead of sucrose, buying dextrose. Is it good, bad, better? What do you think?
It's good. It's good. And in fact, I can send you, after this call, I'll email you some recipes that use it, and that you can use for cakes and things like that. It's nowhere near as sweet as sugar, and so there's a lot of recipes that you can't use it in, but there are some types of food, like ice cream, for example, where they don't have a lot of sugar anyway, and you can use it, and it doesn't matter that it's not so sweet. Most people can't tell the difference. And it is safe because it is just the non-harmful half of sugar. So sucrose is half glucose, half fructose. Dextrose is just glucose, which is the half we can metabolize. And it's just like taking the fructose molecule out of sugar and throwing it away.
Yeah. Perfect. Of course, there's a limit to that, because it's like it's like eating too much of anything. It's bad for you, and in that case, that
yeah. But the difference is that we don't get addicted to glucose, which is what dextrose is. And so, while yes, you can make cakes and things that look like sugar cakes and taste like them a lot of the time, they're not addictive. And so, unlike a real cake, where you can't just have one slice, with these ones, you have one slice and you're full and you don't come back.
I'm amazed. So we can get addicted to dextrose, to glucose?
No, you won't get it that, because it's our primary fuel supply. So every cell in our body uses it for energy, and our appetite control system works on the basis that is where our energy is coming from.
Wow.
So it's automatic, whereas fructose skips that, and that's why it's a problem.
Amazing. Wow. Okay. I think we're done. Anything you want to ask? No. Okay. Any advice you want to tell my pupils, or whatever you think that might help them? From David Gillespie.
An awful lot. So, I'm not going to give them a lot of advice. I'm just really excited about this program that they're developing, because I've spoken to a lot of people around the world, and I've never heard of anyone making a game like that. And I think that's got a lot of potential.
We're going to make the way.
Because that's something that can engage young people in this message, and I think that's really important.
Wow. Yeah, especially here that we're a bit alone in this.
Yeah. No, I think it's a really good idea, and I'm excited to see it.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to spread the word, and especially start something here in Argentina, especially in Buenos Aires state. There isn't any law, at least for now, that prohibits selling candy and unhealthy snacks in schools.
Yeah, see that is really hard, because that combined with the fact the labels don't tell you how much sugar is there, makes it really, really hard.
It's dangerous, and especially with what they worked, especially Paula and Valentina last year, that even though children have a healthy option, they still choose the candy, they still choose the alcohol.
Of course they do. I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah.
It's addictive.
Yeah, but what really caught our attention is that even though they tend to do that, of course, because they're children, when they are the group, the age group that really pays attention when you want to teach about them, because when they were working last year with the workshop, the ones that came more often to listen to them and to try the game were the youngest.
Yes.
Not the teenagers.
There is a study that was done in the UK where they just told kids about the sugar. They didn't do. There was no intense thing. It was just during their health lessons they would tell them about how the sugar damaged them and so on. And just doing that, no other enforcement, nothing else. The obesity rates in that group by the end of the year were significantly lower than the control group that they had where they didn't tell them.
Wow, impressive. Yeah, so that's why, and well, of course, parents too want to know about this because they are the ones that buy groceries every day or every week, and they choose some. The thing that worries us the most is that they think they are choosing healthy options for the children, and they actually not. Chocolate milk.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a message aimed at people who are buying Coke. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's the people who are buying orange juice but think they're doing something healthy.
Exactly. Yeah, they know that Coke is not good. They know that chocolate shouldn't be eaten every day and so on. But still, they buy the orange juice or the orange water.
Yeah.
There are some things like that because it says
which is
vitamin
even
C.
worse.
Yeah. So we'll see how this comes up.
Well, it's lovely to meet you all, and thank you for coming out so late on a Friday night.
That's okay. The Friday for them is just starting. For me, it's just ending. They're going out now. They're going to have fun and relax.
Right. Okay. Well, have a good time.
I'm going home to sleep. David, again, thank you for your time. Sorry for the confusion.
No, pleasure.
My bad.
Oh, that's okay.
I
it's
almost
no trouble at all.
No, yes, that's a small hitch in the program. I forgot that you're halfway around the world, and for you.
Well, there's an international dateline between us. Look, if you want to talk to me again during this program, that's fine. I'm happy to do it. But now that difference, just set it up whenever you want, and we can do it.
Yeah, great. We'll do. Okay, and we'll keep you posted on the program and on the science fair.
Yeah, Twitter.
Terrific.
We'll tweet about it. David, thank you again.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.